जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हे कृष्ण हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा काला चंजी राधा काला चंजी राधे जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद। We'll start with our prayer. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jaymudiryeta. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya bhagavatam uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in the class on the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with the transcendental song, is established as an irrevocable fact. So today we are reading 10.4.8 through 13. The chapter is the atrocities of King Kansa. Should we start from text 8? Somebody wants to read, please.
Text 8. Having uprooted all relationships with his sister because of intense selfishness, Kamsa, who was sitting on his knees, grasped the newborn child by the legs and tried to dash her against the surface of a stone.
The child Yogamaya Devi, the younger sister of Lord Vishnu, slipped upward from Kamsa's hands and appeared in the sky as Devi, the goddess Durga, with 8 arms, completely equipped with weapons.
So this the only purport is there in text 9 and then 13. So if it is okay, we can read. It's a small purport.
Kamsa tried to dash the child downward against a piece of stone, but since she was Yogamaya, the younger sister of Lord Vishnu, she slipped upward and assumed the form of the goddess Durga. The word Anuja, meaning the younger sister, is significant. When Vishnu or Krishna took birth from Devaki, he must have simultaneously taken birth from Yashoda also. Otherwise, how could Yogamaya have been Anuja, the Lord's younger sister?
Thank you.
The goddess Durga was decorated with flower garlands, smeared with sandalwood pulp, and dressed with excellent garments and ornaments made of valuable jewels, holding in her hands a bow, a trident, arrows, a shield, a sword, a conch shell, a disc, and a club, and being praised by celestial beings like Apsaras, Kinaras, Uragas, Siddhas, Charanas, and Gandhavaras, who worshipped her with all kinds of presentations. She spoke as follows.
O Kamsa, you fool! What will be that the use of killing me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has been your enemy from the very beginning and who will certainly kill you, has already taken birth somewhere else. Therefore, do not unnecessarily kill other children.
Thank you very much. So we'll read now text 13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Iti prabhashyatam devi Maya Bhagavati Bhuvi Bahunam Niketeshu Bahunama Bhabuvaha. Iti prabhashyatam devi Maya Bhagavati Bhuvi Bahunam Niketeshu Bahunama Bhabuvaha. Iti prabhashyatam devi Maya Bhagavati Bhuvi Bahunama Niketeshu Bahunama Babhuvayah Iti Prabhashyatam Devi Maya Bhagavati Bhuvi Bahunama Niketeshu Bahunama Babhuvah Iti Prabhashyatam Devi Maya Bhagavati Bhuvi Bahunama Niketeshu Bahunama Babhuvah. Synonyms. Iti, in this way, Prabhashya addressing Tam Kamsa, Devi the goddess Durga, Maya Yogamaya, Bhagavati possessing immense power like that of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhuvi on the surface of the earth, Bahunama of different names, Nikiteshu in different places, Bahunama different names, Babhuva become, Ha indeed. Translation. After speaking to Kamsa in this way, the goddess Durga, Yogamaya, appeared in different places such as Varanasi and became celebrated by different names such as Annapurna, Durga, Kali and Bhadra. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The goddess Durga is celebrated in Calcutta as Kali, in Bombay, now called Mumbai, as Mumba Devi, in Varanasi as Annapurna, in Cuttack as Bhadrakali, and in Ahmedabad as Bhadra. Thus, in different places, she is known by different names. Her devotees are known as Shaktas, or worshipper of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas the worshipper of the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself are called Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas are destined to return home back to Godhead in the spiritual world, whereas the Shaktas are destined to live within this material world to enjoy different types of material happiness. In the material world, the living entity must accept different types of bodies. Brahmanya Sarya Bhutani Yatra Udhrani Mayaya. According to the living entity's desires, Yogamaya or Maya, the goddess Durga, gives him a particular type of body which is mentioned as yantra, a machine. But the living entity who are promoted to the spiritual world do not return to the prison house of a material body. Taktva deham punarjanma neti mameti so Arjuna. The word janma neti indicates that these living entities remain in their original spiritual bodies to enjoy the company of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the transcendental abode Vaikuntha and Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamayam Dadatim Swapadantikam Vanchatalpakarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Kaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So last was the Saturday, Mataji, you spoke, right? We heard the wonderful details from Her Grace Vrinda Sevika Mataji. And we can continue. It was such a beautiful pastime. I was hearing you on YouTube. And thank you, all the Mahabhagavats who are sitting here. I have absolutely no qualification to speak on Srimad Bhagavatam, but I am grateful for the opportunity because it allows me to purify myself. So thank you very much. So what one question that came to my mind as I was preparing, so what is the difference between Yoga Maya and Mahamaya? And Srila Prabhupada in purport referring to Mother Durga as Yoga Maya. And what is the purpose of these two energies? I think all of you already know. Both Yoga Maya and Mahamaya actually make us forget what? Krishna. Thank you. And what is the difference between the forgetfulness between Yoga Maya and Mahamaya? Where is our mic, Mataji?
Yogamaya or Durga makes us forget Krishna, and Mahamaya makes us, in the spiritual world, makes us forget that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the devotees there treat him just like an ordinary, their son, and they forget his opulence of Supreme Personality.
So that is Yoga Maya. So Yoga Maya makes us forget, yeah.
So, yeah, okay.
No, your answer is right.
Confused. Yes, sorry.
So the Yoga Maya makes us forget the opulences of Krishna so that we can love Krishna. And Mahamaya makes us forget Krishna completely so that we can enjoy materially and never go back to Godhead. But Krishna, Srila Prabhupada refers Mother Durga as Yoga Maya here. We'll discuss that, we'll try to understand. So I'm going to actually this is very interesting. Kansa was actually really scared and afraid as soon as that happens. And in that process, I'm going a little bit ahead to kind of make a context here. He came to senses. He was so scared that, okay, something really is bad is going to happen. He was scared when the Akashvani happened also, that, hey, Devaki's son is going to kill you. But at this time, he was very, very scared, and he came to senses, and he started justifying his actions by giving the Vedic wisdom back to Devaki, saying that, okay, this is karma, this is reaction, and I'm sorry, this happened, that happened, this is, destiny of those, forgive me, and things like that. And they believed. And he was very learned. Just like we can see examples of Hiranyakashipu, Ravan, Kansa, they know the Vedic knowledge very well. He was describing, this is not the body, this is the soul, etc. But at the same time, not realizing what Krishna says, that I am to be known from the Vedas, the 15:15, right? And Sarvadharman Parityaja. So what is happening? We are using this knowledge. In this case, they are using this knowledge only for sense gratification, which is also the situation today that at least I have gone through, that using some of this, using my background, using everything for what? For the sense gratification, to just grow more on a material platform. That was Kansa's position, and that is the position today that we live in when three modes of material nature kick in, both mode of ignorance and mode of passion makes us forget Krishna, which is the energy of Mahamaya, and we just entangled here. So this is a conversation between the devotees in 1968. I'm assuming some of us, you were not born there. 1 year before I was born. I was born in 69. It's in Seattle. So one of the guests is asking after the lecture with Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna Maharaj is there too, how may we recognize Yogamaya after this discussion? Prabhupada said, I don't know what is your question. Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, he wants to know how we may recognize Yogamaya and how we may know. Prabhupada, Yogamaya means that which connects you. Yoga means connection. When you are being gradually advanced in Krishna consciousness, that is the action of Yogamaya. And when you are gradually forgetting Krishna, that is the action of Mahamaya. Then he says, Maya is acting upon you. The one is dragging you, one is pushing you opposite way. Yogamaya. So just like the example that you always, under the laws of government, you cannot deny. If you say, I don't agree to abide by the laws of government, that is not possible. But when you are a criminal, you are under the police laws, and when you are a gentleman, you are under the civil laws. The laws are there. In any situation, you have to obey the laws of government. If you remain as a civilized citizen, then you are always protected by civil laws. But as soon as you are against the state, and the criminal laws will act upon you. So the criminal activities of the law is Mahamaya. Threefold miseries, always putting in some sort of misery. And the civil department of Krishna, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam, you simply go on increasing. I mean to say, depend on the depth of the ocean of joy. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. That is the difference, Yogamaya and Mahamaya. Yogamaya, the original Yogamaya, is Krishna's internal potency. That is Radharani. And the Mahamaya is external potency, Durga. I found that very powerful. Then question comes about Arjuna. I was just thinking, before Mahabharata war started, Arjuna went to worship Mother Durga. Actually, Krishna sent him to do that. Anybody can enlighten why that happened and what happened during that time? So, Mataji, so Arjun did go there and he worshipped Mother Durga. And so the tradition is that most of the Kshatriyas, typically during the war or before the war, you must have heard the story of Shivaji's also, Jai Bhavani, etc., right? So slogans in Maharashtra. So that has been a tradition because you take the blessings from Mother Durga and get the power to fight the war. Arjun was Kshatriya. But at the same time, that was not the reason. Because mostly who goes to Mother Durga, who wants to enjoy the sense gratification, and Prabhupada says that, and we also see these days now, you go to Mother Durga because you want money, you want health, you want good wife, good husband, good kids, some opulence, right? And there is a process. Vedic scripture describes a bona fide process, you get it, but what is the problem with that? We are materially engaged in the material world, going through the series of birth, old age, birth, death, disease, and that cycle again and again. So why did Arjuna go? Arjuna was in a perfect situation where he knew who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here's another conversation. Upendra, Prabhupada, can you explain Mahamaya and Yogamaya? Was Arjun under Yogamaya or Mahamaya? Prabhupada says, Arjun, when he was thinking in terms of his personal sense gratification, he was under Mahamaya. And when he agreed to execute the order of Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he was under Yogamaya. So we could say that, and I'm not saying because it continues. How is it Arjun? He was eternally liberated, Prabhupada, because he is a living entity, he is marginal. There is a chance of marginal means dash dash. I have explained several times, just like the land. Between the ocean and the land, there is a portion of the land which is sometimes merged within water, sometimes it is land. So a living entity's position is like that, marginal energy. He may be under influence of the Yogamaya, or he may be under the influence of Mahamaya. When he's under the influence of Mahamaya, that is his conditioned life. And when he's under the influence of Yogamaya, he is free. Chant Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada sometimes says this. One time he also explains, I don't have that lecture, I try to find it, that Arjun is eternally, he knows who is Supreme Personality of Godhead all the time. But what happened is that during the time when he did that ritual, she came, she talked to Arjun, and then she said, wherever you already have Narayan with you, so the victory is yours, there is no doubt. So she affirmed that she really, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And that is Narayan. So I took it as the intent was that, my realization was that, intent was that even if you go to Mother Durga and approach in whatever mood, at the mood of to be under the material influence, or in the mood of that, okay, she is a devotee of the Lord and she's working under the guidance of the Lord. And that is how Arjuna went there and learned for all of us that Supreme Personality of Godhead is Krishna only. And so there was another very funny question answer happened. This was in 1976. Achyutanand asked, so Durga is higher than Vishnu because Vishnu requires Durga to awaken him from the Yoga Nidra to kill Madhu and Kaithbha. So she controls him. So what did Prabhupada would have said? He said, yes, if I ask my servant that you ask them to get up at 7 o'clock, that does not mean. And then he started laughing. Meaning that Yogamaya or Durga, if she's given the service that, okay, you have to make sure, you come and wake up Vishnu at certain time, that does not mean that Vishnu is under the influence of Maya. That is, a lot of interpretations are like that, or the Durga is the Supreme Personality. And hence, the role is reversed. But it is like, we can tell somebody that I need to get up at 7 a.m. Please come and wake me up. That person actually is the servant of Krishna. So really coming back to two types of people that we know from, the chapter 16. What is it called? Yes, thank you. So we know Asuras and Devas are there. And they generally three modes of material nature describes the behavior of the Asuras and Devas. And from the history, we know that mostly people really go to Mother Durga for their sense gratification. And a lot of, I don't know if there are scriptural references or not, but a lot of places they even offer meat and do bali, etc. In different parts of the culture and region in India. Asuras mostly, if they worship, either they are atheist, or if they worship, they mostly worship Mother Durga. In the case, the stories that we see in Srimad Bhagavatam, many of them go to Brahmaji, but nobody wants to go to Vishnu for some reason. Even knowing Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, knowing the knowledge, they're so intelligent, they're so knowledgeable, yet they do not want to go to Vishnu. And that is even reflected today, that, I would not say we, because all of you are Vaishnavas, very, very exalted Vaishnavas, but in general in the society, we only want to get so that we can have sense gratification. And for that purpose, if I learn this process that I can go to Mother Durga and get my fulfillment, then I'll do whatever it takes. And so, we have these Navadurgas that happens every year, twice a year, I think. I do not know exactly. I think one is in March, April time frame, one is Navratri before Diwali. And so a lot of people get engaged, but look at the activities, especially during the Navratri when the people do fasting for 9 days. But essentially, it is the mood that, okay, for 9 days I'm going to do this. In a way, it is good because it still brings people to the mode of goodness, and that is a good thing. But the intent is not the mode of goodness. Intent is that somehow I finish this, I get my list of 10 things, and then I go back to my business. And I have known a lot of people, after 9 days, they have this party. Okay, I finished it. Now I want to go back. Everything has to happen. That party is all kind of 4 things are happening which are prohibited. And the intent of Navratri, which is, that whole Garba and the dance, etc., it has completely changed. It's completely changed. And, I can't describe here more. But essentially, it has become a place of breaking the 4 regulative principles now, pretty much, across the world. And that is the mentality of Kansa that we are reading today. I'm going to read a couple of translations, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16. I referred to this one more time and previously, but this is something that is so close to my heart. Also allows in the preaching setting very well, which is text 13 and 15, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16. The demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I'll gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him. And my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifice. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. That is the mentality of Kansa, represented today also. I mean, we can have so many examples, and we can have such a detailed discussion on this one, that is actually the mentality that somehow I get into a position where everybody is cooperating with me only to my plan. And then I can run the country, I can run the office, I can run household, I can run something, but everybody has to cooperate, and then I will do some charity. Once I'm in that, I'll make some hospital, I'll do this, I'll do that, but I'm going to take everything else, everything for me first. And that is, such person are deluded by ignorance. Text 18, bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons becomes envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. And that is what was happening with Kansa. That he knew, he heard the, what do you call Akashvani in English, Mataji? I hope everybody knows Akash. Prophecy, yeah, thank you. Right, that Krishna will come, the Narayan will come and is going to kill Kansa. He knows who is Vishnu, he knows who is Narayan, he knows who is Krishna. Yet what is happening? Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demon becomes envious of the Supreme Personality of God. And that is what he displayed until Krishna took care of him. 19. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life. And so unfortunately, that is the situation today. from that time also, but today it is increasing more and more, that that whole envy is just creating this material world that we live in, where we are taught multiple things. One is sense gratification and how to increase sense gratification and how to be envious continuously. And then we are taught how to not be spiritual, whether it is, always I bring this, whether it is school education, whether it is media, whether it is, your work, whether it is relative, community, even even where people are doing volunteer work, we are still learning only this, how to do sense gratification at some level. And just going through the cycle of birth and death, and nobody really is interested to learn this knowledge, even though it is available pretty much everywhere. 20. Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demonic life, O son of Kunti, such person can never approach me. Gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. So this is how actually the life is today, unfortunately, outside of SCON. And the reason I said outside of SCON means that, I've been part of various groups and organizations, just to understand the spiritual life and try to learn Bhagavad Gita at many places. Actually, nobody talks about following the 4 regulative principles. Nowhere. Almost nowhere. And only when we are in the setting of when we are having this conversation. And second thing is, question answers are not appreciated at most places. So you cannot really ask questions after a certain time. And which is the opposite. This whole Bhagavad Gita is the conversation of question answer between Arjuna and Krishna, and that is what Prabhupada is doing under the framework of SCON, that you can ask any questions. So that is not encouraged at many places. And if you ask questions, many times we are told that you can't understand, you're not there. Right? And that's it. So, you feel like you're a fool sitting among 100 people, and so you will never ask that any question again. And so there is no question of making progress, because there's a whole aspect of understanding spiritual science is you have to ask questions so that you can understand. And that is what Krishna and Arjuna is doing, and that is what Srila Prabhupada has done. That is what other acharyas done. So I think we can be extremely grateful to Srila Prabhupada. Not I think, we should be extremely grateful to Srila Prabhupada that he built this structure knowing how things are going to get worse in future. And when I see that his vision, I'll give you an example that in my company we spend millions of dollars to research that how do we grow people, how do we grow business, and how do we grow people. And here Srila Prabhupada is giving this wisdom, a simple thing, please associate with devotees. Right? It sounds very simple. It actually sometimes becomes mundane in my mind that, association, yes, I am here, I am in Dham, it is association. But it is such an impactful thing that there's so much of research and money is spent, and then they conclude that if you want to grow on a material platform, you must find a mentor and you should learn from them, and so that you can grow, and this is how we are going to spend money for you to find a mentor. And again, it is all about sense gratification on that platform, but the point I'm trying to make is Srila Prabhupada, who comes and simply gives this knowledge, nobody wants to take it. After spending many millions and research, they conclude something similar but still on a material platform, and everybody accepts it. That is the nature of Kansa that we are into or see it outside. So all the 4 regulative principles. And the simple thing that one should address all the female devotees as Matajis, male devotees as Prabhujis, it changes the consciousness slowly to the point that we start actually understanding what is the real meaning behind it. And that just that concept of calling Matajis and Prabhujis, he actually takes such a big philosophy, puts into these two simple words to change the consciousness. I was actually in Mathura, Vrindavan, and I was going to my hometown, Gwalior, which is about 3 hours from Vrindavan. And I was in train, and somehow I had a lot of luggage, so devotees helped me to push me in that, even though I had a reservation. So it was very much struggle for me in the train, and so there was very less space. So I kept my luggage. It was very close. It's a small ride. So I kept my luggage near the door. So I was standing. And so one very young Mataji came, and she boarded from Mathura. And she was not able to see. I was standing behind my luggage there. So I told her, Mataji, please be careful. The luggage is very close to the door. And she got very angry with me. She was very young. And I heard this, but this I experienced myself that, do I look like Mataji to you? So that shows how our mentality, which is more asuri or demonic, that we do not understand how to live life. I was shocked with that. I said, okay, I was quiet and I moved on from there. So this is how, we can understand the difference between Yogamaya and Mahamaya. Mahamaya brings us, keeps us in the Durg, which is the fort of the material activities and sense gratification, because that is what we have chosen. And the Yogamaya makes us forget Krishna, not to forget Krishna, but to forget this opulences so that we can have a loving relationship with Krishna. There are a lot of wonderful pastimes. What time we pause for question, answer, and discussion, Madhi? Now is okay, or we keep reading? There is a beautiful verse in actually Brahma Samhita that describes, I'll probably read that one a little bit. Who is Mother Durga? Right. I'll try to read, though I am not good with Brahma Samhita reading. Shrashti sthiti pralaya sadhana shakti reka chayeva yasya bhuvanani bhivarti durga ikshana rupam api yasya chatesthesa govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. It is 5.44. Brahma Samhita. The external potency Maya, who is of the nature of the shadow of the Chit potency, is worshipped by all the people as Durga, the creating, preserving, destroying agency of this mundane world. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, in accordance with whose will Durga conducts herself. And so the purport is very, very beautiful. I can read if you like. It's going to take 5 minutes. Is that okay? The aforesaid presiding deity of Devi Dharma is being described. The world in which Brahma takes his stand and hymns of the Lord of Goloka is Devi Dharma, consisting of the 14 world, and Durga is its presiding deity. She is 10-armed, representing the tenfold fruitative activities. She rides on the lion, representing her heroic powers. She tramples down Mahishasura, representing the subduer of vices. She is the mother of two sons, Kartikeya and Ganesh, representing beauty and success. She is placed between the Lakshmi and Saraswati, representing mundane opulence and mundane knowledge. She is armed with the 20 weapons, representing the various pious activities enjoyed by the Vedas of the suppression of vices. She holds snake, representing the beauty of destructive time. Such is Durga, possessing all these manifold forms. Durga is possessed of Durga, which means the prison house. When jivas, begotten of the marginal potency, forget the service of Krishna, they are confined in the mundane prison house, the citadel of Durga. The wheel of karma is the instrument of punishment at this place. The work of purifying these penalized jivas is the duty devolved upon Durga. She is incessantly engaged in discharging the same by the will of Govinda, when luckily the forgetfulness of Govinda on the part of the forgetfulness of the Govinda on the part of imprisoned jiva is remarked by them by coming in contact with the self-realized soul, their nature, aptitude of the loving service of Krishna is aroused. Durga herself then becomes the agency of their deliverance by the will of Govinda. So it is behooved everybody to obtain the giddiness of grace of Durga, the mistress of this prison house, by appropriating her with the selfless service of Krishna. The boon received from Durga in the shape of wealth, prosperity, recovery from illness, a wife, son, should be realized at the deluding kindness of Durga. The mundane psychical jubilation of Das Maha Vidya, the 10 goddess or forms of Durga, are elaborated for the delusion of the fettered souls of this world. Jiva is the spiritual atomic part of Krishna. When he forgets his service of Krishna, he is at once deflected by the attracting power of Maya in this world, who throws him into the whirlpool of mundane fruitive activities, karma, by confining him in a gross body constituted of the 5 material elements, their 5 attributes and 11 senses, resembling the grab of a prisoner. In this whirlpool, Jiva has experience of happiness and miseries, heaven and hell. Matra sparshastu kanteya sitoshna sukha. 2.13, right? Besides this, there is a subtle body consists of mind, intelligence, and ego inside the gross body. By the means of subtle body, Jiva forsake the one gross body and take recourse to another. Jiva cannot get rid of the subtle body, full of nuisance and evil desire, until he is liberated. On getting rid of the subtle body, he bathes in the Vraja and goes to the Haridham. Such are the duties performed by Durga in accordance with the will of Govinda. In Bhagavata Shloka, the relationship between Durga and the conditioned soul is described. Durga, worshipped by the people of the mundane world, is the Durga described above. But the spiritual Durga mentioned in the mantra, which is the outer covering of the spiritual realm of the Supreme Lord, is the eternal maidservant of Krishna and is therefore the transcendental reality whose shadow, the Durga of this world, functions in this mundane world as her maidservant. That's how it is described in Brahma Samhita. So I'll stop here and have you all add more to this conversation, corrections.
It's interesting what you're saying about the subtle body, the what we call mind intelligence and false ego. The other day at work, there's this one big African guy that always works on the truck. He's probably about at least 300 pounds, and he says, "I'm all muscle but no brains." So sometimes we hear, that the mind is, and then the intelligence constitute the subtle body. Sometimes people, they use the word brains to mean intelligence, or sometimes it means this particular lump of matter. So what's the difference, or what's the mind and the brain? What's the relationship between the mind, the brain, and the intelligence?
So as we were reading the purport, it says that in Bhagavad Gita also described that, our outer body is made of 5 elements, which is earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And that is all the gross body that we can see, including our organs, including the brain, which is made of these 5 elements only. So it is the gross element which is called brain, that's how I understand, which is made of these 5 elements, and at the time of death, these 5 elements merge into the 5 elements. Whether it is brain, whether it is lungs, heart, liver, whatever it is all made of 5 elements. And the mind, which is part of the subtle body, which is mind, ego, and intelligence, this is really the repository of desires, where our desires are residing and our sanskars are residing from birth after birth after birth. We keep it there, it is stored there, and as we leave this body, subtle body goes with the soul. And based on the desires, we get another body, especially at the time of death. Whatever is our consciousness. So the idea is that how do we make sure, one is we desire the right thing, and second is that we have no material desires. And that is really the false ego comes into play, that everything that is sitting in our mind today is based on that false ego, that I am this body and I am not the soul. And we create sanskar, birth after birth, only based on that false ego. And when we get the knowledge that false ego is destroyed, we get the real ego, that I am actually eternal servant of the Lord, and then my desire changes. And so my man, which is mind, now wants to move to the right direction and say, okay, I now want to really do what I'm supposed to do, which is to serve the Lord and reestablish that relationship. At that time, all the karmic reactions are destroyed, because now we take the full shelter of the Lord. Then we go back to Godhead. That is how I see the difference between the mind and the brain. Brain is a material part of the material body. 5 elements get destroyed. Is that okay, Prem? Thank you very
much. I'd like to speak on the topic of Yogmaya and association. I had a very powerful experience last night. I was induced under the power of Yogamaya. I was doing my rounds, and I was enjoying it so much that I just kept doing it. And the feeling became very potent, to where it became so strong. It wasn't just a feeling. It wasn't a dream, because I wasn't asleep, but it was like a vision. And the vision was of incredible gratitude. I've only been here a few weeks, and I have so much gratitude for all the devotees, and how much love and support I've gotten. Especially, I'm in absolute awe at all the children devotees. You all are so incredibly talented in your own ways, and it's just so beautiful to see that. And in this vision, I wanted to give gifts to all the devotees, and there was so much love coming from that. And it was a maya, because I don't have those resources, but I was wanting to give these gifts. And then I remembered Vasudeva and Devaki, when they were in the jail cell, how many cows they gifted.
Yeah.
They had nothing. And
Mataji was describing that.
Right, and so I realized that the potency, we can access the potency of Yogamaya by giving exponentially. We don't have to have the physical thing to give. And so then I said, I don't know, I just said, Krishna, I give you 10,000 cows. And I said, why stop there? I'll give you 10 million cows. No, I'll give you all the cows, all the gold, all the fruit, all the grain, all the flowers of all the universes, of all the timelines. That was my devotion. And it was so powerful. And I realized I can give that in every moment. Even when I have nothing, I can still give the world to Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I would like to just share that. That's a very powerful realization, and you shared it. I would still suggest or humbly request that we should still take the shelter of the Vaishnavas and really experience this under the guidance of a guru. I mean, you will experience what you will experience, which is very good, but it's very, very important that we take the shelter of the guru and really follow the instruction of the guru so that we are not bewildered. Because sometimes we can think that something potentially could be Yogamaya, could be Mahamaya. And that illusion can, Krishna says, I am the best, but that do it, right? I'm the best, what is the word? Who plays this game of, I guess I'm forgetting. They're playing the dice, thank you, right? I'm the best of that who can play that game, right? And essentially what I understood from the acharyas, that all our life, we could think that I am doing devotional service and have this feeling that I become so great. And Krishna will make us feel that we are doing devotional service, and at the end of the day, we will be zero. Meaning that we just felt that I'm so great. I'm not saying to you, Prabhu, but that feeling can come at some point of time that I'm so great, that I'm very good devotee. And Krishna will make us feel that I'm a good devotee under the Mahamaya, and we leave this body if we do not take the shelter of the Guru. And that is a very dangerous situation that can happen, and that happens to a lot of people. So thank you for sharing wonderful realization, but very important to take shelter. But thank you for thinking. No, don't worry about it. Just keep chanting here. Keep chanting here. You're No, you don't need to prevent them. All I'm saying is that some point of time, we have to go deeper dive and take shelter so that we have the humility to understand what are these really experiences. Right now it is okay, but some people get misguided with these experiences, saying, we get to a point that I don't need a guru. I know everything now. And that can be a very dangerous situation. Sorry, but thank you.
Hi, Krishna Prabhu. I really appreciated the point you brought about asking questions, and that is such a wonderful strength, as you called out here, and how we're always encouraged to ask questions, and also not feel like we need to know, but as long as we know someone who knows. So it's like the chain of disciplic succession. We always have association of those who know. And so even if someone asks us a question that we don't know, then we say, okay, I don't know the answer to this question, but I know someone that knows this question's answer, and let me connect you to that person. So I really, from get-go, appreciated this process in the movement, and how we see, like you called out, in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, it is, all questions and answers. And His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu also published that book, 4 Questions, and how questions are a hook. So we're always encouraged to ask questions, and that's how we grow. So that was a very beautiful point. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful class. I really look forward to your classes. because you keep the Prabhupada mood alive and guide us to the scriptures so nicely. So same thing, I really appreciated the framework of question and answers that you mentioned. And you said this, that in many parts, they will say, don't ask questions, because the real reason is they really don't have answers for the questions people would
Yes.
have, like who is God, like as simple as that. And what they do is they actually, the knowledge that they're passing is from the pratyaksh praman, like through senses what they are learning, and anuman, like what assumptions they are making. And when the next leader comes, they have new assumptions, and they have different philosophy. But Prabhupada has under the disciplic succession, we have just one philosophy, the absolute truth, which is just one. And one more thing, that outside people would think that when you come in spirituality, you don't use your intelligence, you're just blind, covered with blind faith. But on the contrary, scriptures actually build our intelligence. They actually build our reasoning. Anytime we can have a conversation with any person who is struggling, it is so easy for us to just quote something from Bhagavatam or identify with them, like what you're experiencing is so real because this world is full of suffering. And so what I mean to say is that this is how our intelligence is actually developed, as you were explaining the difference between mind and intelligence. And so
Thank you
wonderful
very
class,
much.
Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much for coming today.